Okay, y'all. Like I said, welcome. This is our Digital Doc webinar series. Today, our installment is Food and Mood. We're going to be discussing neurotransmitters and key nutrients to help support neurotransmitter balance. My name is Dr. Tulia Ribeiro. I'm a functional medicine provider at Align Modern Health. I practice at the River North Streeterville clinics and also in our Evanston clinic. I'm excited to be here and chat about this with you all today. Let's dive in. Let's talk about mood. Here we have Howie unwittingly getting up on the wrong side of the bed. We've all been there. In contrast to emotions or feelings, mood tends to be less specific, less intense, less likely to be provoked by a particular stimulus or event, right? We've all been in either a really good mood where no matter what's going on, nothing's going to bring us down, or we've all been in kind of that bad mood that we can't shake, right? Like we're just, nothing that goes our way is going to cheer us up. Moods are typically described as having either a positive or negative valence. So in other words, people usually talk about being in a good mood or a bad mood, all right? So what can affect our mood? Our overall health status. So are we feeling sick? Do we have chronic illness? Do we just have an injury? That can definitely play into how we're feeling. Our environment, our temperature. We all live in Chicago, so we know that the cold weather can definitely take its toll on our mood. How often we're exercising. Are we exercising enough? Are we exercising too much? Definitely can have an impact on how we're feeling overall. Hormonal factors, socioeconomic and current events, right? It's 2020. We all know the impact of current events on our mood. Supplementation, other therapeutic interventions like chiropractic, acupuncture, massage, all services you can get through Align Modern Health. They can all be great mood boosters. Our genetics, whether or not we have propensity towards mood disorders, can also be part of what's affecting our general mood. And of course, what we're all here for, our diet and food choices have a huge impact on our mood. So let's talk a little bit about that. We're going to start out by looking at mood under a microscope. So interactions between neurotransmitters, hormones, and the brain have a profound influence on our overall health and well-being. Neurotransmitters are powerful chemicals that are going to regulate our numerous physical and emotional processes, such as cognitive, mental performance, emotional states, and pain response. When our concentration, our focus, those are all good, we feel motivated, we feel directed, we feel vibrant, right? We've all been there on a good day, we're cruising along through work, we're feeling awesome, we've got a lot of direction, it's perfect. Unfortunately, if your neurotransmitter levels are inadequate, these energizing and motivating signals tend to be absent, right? And we feel stressed, we feel sluggish, we feel out of control. Not a fun experience. Here are some pictures of mood molecules. Nobody get upset. We're not going to be spending too much time talking about the organic chemistry structure. So there will be no quiz at the end of this webinar. But here we have a few very important neurotransmitters: adrenaline, noradrenaline. These are also called epinephrine and norepinephrine, and that's how we'll talk about them moving forward. Dopamine, serotonin, GABA, acetylcholine, glutamate, endorphins. These are all chemical components. These are all the physical structures of those components that are impacting us on a daily basis, an hourly basis, minute basis, right? We're going to spend most of our time talking about serotonin, dopamine, and noradrenaline. You can see here serotonin kind of is in charge of our general mood. Dopamine regulates pleasure, our reward, our experience of rewards, and noradrenaline is going to affect our concentration. So all things we care a lot about. All right, if we have an imbalance with any of those neurotransmitters, that can lead to some pretty unpleasant things: depression, anxiety, panic attacks, insomnia, irritable bowel syndrome, hormone dysfunction, eating disorders, fibromyalgia, obsessions, compulsions, adrenal dysfunction, chronic pain, migraine headaches, early death. If any of these things are resonating with you, definitely I encourage you to reach out to us at Align Modern Health. We can definitely kind of work through your symptoms and help you figure out what's going on. Some of the key neurotransmitters, like I said, that we're going to talk about are going to be serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. And these have a huge impact on our day-to-day mood. Okay. Serotonin is an imbalance, a serotonin imbalance is one of the most common contributors to mood concerns, right? So if anybody in the audience has ever taken an SSRI, that's a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, that's working to make sure that you have more serotonin in the system. Serotonin is key to our feelings of happiness. It's important for our emotions because it defends us against anxiety and depression. So increased stress can greatly reduce our levels of serotonin. We've all been there. We've been overstressed. We've had a lot of work to do on our plate. We've had too much going on, and we can kind of get into a little bit of an anxious or kind of depressed slump as a result. Some indicators of low serotonin levels. These are things we can be on the lookout for. Feelings of sadness, depression, anxiety, tension, and or irritability that we just can't shake. Could be something as much as a panic attack. Could be low energy, migraines, having obsessive compulsive thoughts, craving sugar or sweets, reduced libido or low interest in sex, sleeping problems, waking up feeling unrested, hormonal imbalances, for example, premenstrual or menopausal mood changes. These can all point to potential imbalance with serotonin. These are things that we want to keep an eye on and bring up with our providers. All right, dopamine and norepinephrine are the neurotransmitters that make us feel really good, right? So they're responsible for our ability to feel motivated. They energize us. They give us the ability to feel interested in things that we care about. They give us the drive to achieve our goals, right? They're associated with our moods when we're in love, after exercise, when we're listening to music, or during or after sex. All things that are very pleasurable, right, for humans, things that we want to be doing that feel great after we've done it. And a deficiency in dopamine or norepinephrine could lead to difficulty initiating or completing tasks, poor concentration, lack of energy, lack of motivation, right? Like this last column, I feel like we've all been there, especially, during this year, 2020. It's been hard to kind of find the productivity, but we've got some stuff to talk about that will definitely be beneficial for us here. All right, so food, right? Food is information. The food you digest sends messages to every one of the approximately 37 trillion cells in your body to help them do their jobs. Fresh, nutritious food gives us messages to create and maintain balanced levels of our neurotransmitters, right? So we tend to think of like food as fuel, right? We need to eat because we're hungry, but really, truly, we need to eat because we need to rebuild ourselves on almost a daily basis. Your gut right now is breaking your lunch down into macro and micronutrients, and those macro and micronutrients are going to turn around and get remade into you. Just for reference here, our macronutrients, a reminder, are proteins, fats, and carbs. And then our micronutrients are going to be more our vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients, which is to say we get them from plants. All right, so food is incredibly important. The brain-gut connection. So we all know that our brains are part of our central nervous system, but did you know that our gut has a nervous system all of its own? The enteric nervous system is hidden in the walls of our digestive system. So there are so many neurons, which are the functional nervous tissue cell that we think of in the brain. There's so many of them in the lining of the gut. The brain in your gut is a link between digestion, mood, cognition, and overall health. So if you've ever made a decision by going with your gut, or if you've ever felt butterflies in your stomach, you've been tapping into the knowledge that we can get from our enteric nervous system, right? And it's a two-way street. Our brain impacts our gut health. Our gut health, in fact, impacts our brain health. These things are very linked. All right. Our bugs also affect our brains too, right? We have bacteria that live on and inside of us, and well, inside of us technically in our alimentary tract or our digestive tract. Technically, that's outside of us, but we think of it as inside, right? The bacteria in that microbiome help us to digest our food, help us to regulate our immune systems, protect against other bacteria that cause disease, and then also produce vitamins, including vitamin B12, thiamine, which is B1, and riboflavin B2, and also vitamin K, right? So our gut microbiome is incredibly important, and we're learning more and more every day about the impact that microbiome has on our overall health and in relation to what we're talking about now, how that microbiome impacts our mood. So lots to study there. Boosting our neurotransmitter production through key micronutrients. So we talked about macronutrients being proteins, carbs, and fats, right? So those also get broken down. Proteins are, the building blocks of proteins are called amino acids. The amino acids that we need to produce serotonin, that incredibly vital neurotransmitter, is called tryptophan. We've all heard of tryptophan, right? We think of that as being, there's a lot of tryptophan in turkey, so that Thanksgiving nap, right? That's due to tryptophan. To turn that tryptophan into serotonin, our bodies require a few different vitamins and minerals. So we need vitamin C, we need biotin or B7, we need magnesium, an incredibly important mineral, omega-3 fatty acids, pyridoxine or B6, folate or B9, and zinc, another very, very important mineral, especially now with all the immune system challenges that we're facing. Okay, so the amino acid we need to produce dopamine, and then in turn norepinephrine, is called tyrosine. To turn tyrosine into dopamine, our bodies are going to need iron. We all know how important iron is for preventing anemia, but we also need it to make dopamine. Niacin B3, pyridoxine B6, folate B9, and then we need to create dopamine, or excuse me, we created our dopamine, but now we need norepinephrine. How do we do that? Well, to make that happen, we need more vitamin C and we need some copper. So you can see here a lot of B vitamins are part of this. So definitely want to make sure we have plenty of those. And where do we get these nutrients? Our B vitamins we can get from salmon, eggs, liver, chickpeas and lentils, dark leafy greens, nutritional yeast, whole grains, sweet potatoes, almonds, avocados, right? And you know, there's no need to memorize this list. Really, truly, I want to show you that we can get a lot of our vitamins and minerals from a wide variety of food. The most important thing is really to have a balanced, varied diet. We don't want to, you know, go eating the same thing every day because we're not going to get this wide array of different beneficial compounds, right? Vitamin C, we don't have to just eat oranges all the time. You can have papaya, bell peppers, broccoli, strawberries, Brussels sprouts, pineapple, cauliflower, kale, cabbage, all excellent sources of vitamin C. Omega-3 fatty acids we tend to think of in salmon, right? And that's a great source of it. We could also find our omega-3s in flax seeds, walnuts, sardines, grass-fed beef. If the beef that we're eating, those cows are eating nothing but grass, they're actually creating their own omega-3 fatty acids. So that's one of the reasons why grass-fed beef is so beneficial for us. Brussels sprouts again, cauliflower, mustard seeds. All great places to get omega-3 fatty acids. In terms of fish, we like to use the mnemonic SMASH. So salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring, all great sources of omega-3 fatty acids. All right. Zinc we can also get from grass-fed beef, spinach, asparagus, shiitake, and cremini mushrooms, which are delicious, right? Magnesium, like I said, an incredibly important mineral. It's not only important for boosting our neurotransmitter production, but also for enhancing a sensation of relaxation. And you know, if you've ever suffered from headaches, magnesium could be a great option for you, right? All things that you can talk about with your functional medicine provider. But magnesium we can get from spinach, Swiss chard, beet greens, turnip greens, pumpkin seeds. Iron, we tend to think of red meat, right? But that's not actually the only source where we can get iron. Spinach, Swiss chard, cumin, parsley, turmeric, beet greens, collard greens, bok choy leeks. One thing that is important to note, if you're eating these non-beef sources of iron, or even if you are eating beef sources of iron, you want to combine them with our sources of vitamin C. That's going to increase your ability to uptake your iron. All right. Then in terms of copper, we can get that from sesame seeds, cashews, shiitake, and cremini mushrooms again, more beet greens, more turnip greens, spinach, kale, and asparagus. And I just saw a question come in. Can we share a bit on protein from non-meat sources? Yes, absolutely. Great thing about all of these foods that I've discussed so far, they've all got a lot of protein in them. We don't tend to think of our vegetables as protein sources. And it's true that we're not going to get as many proteins from our veggies as we would from, you know, an 8-ounce piece of meat. But if we're very smart about the way we combine our proteins, if we combine our plant-based proteins, we're definitely going to be able to get enough protein. making food combinations like beans and a grain. So beans and rice or beans and corn are a great way to make sure you're getting a very complete protein that contains all of the essential amino acids that we need. All right. Hope that's helpful. We can also, we have 3 amazing nutritionists on staff at Align Modern Health. So if you want some more info on how to best get your adequate protein intake as a vegan or vegetarian, definitely recommend we get you in to chat with one of them. All right. So how else can we further optimize our mood through food? So we definitely want to support the gut to support our mood. We talked about the connection between gut health and brain health. So some things that we can try would be eating fermented foods that are going to contain those probiotics that are going to be so beneficial for us, right? The more good bugs we have in a system, the less the bad bugs have a place to kind of latch on and grow and cause problems, right? Collagen or bone broth, both really great sources of lots of amino acids. Those can be very healing for the gut lining itself and beneficial for our hair, our skin, our nails, right? Timing is also everything, right? Some people do really well with intermittent fasting. Some people do a little better with eating small, frequent meals, right? These are things that we can help you to sort out with a thorough functional medicine evaluation, right? Intermittent fasting has a lot of praise. It's got a little bit of like a buzz about it right now, but it's not to say it's for everybody. So if you've ever tried intermittent fasting and it didn't really work out how you wanted it to, don't be discouraged. It's not a one size fits all. Same thing with eating small, frequent meals. For some people that really works, that really helps them to feel stabilized. But for others, that traditional 3 meals a day works a little better. We're all unique, so we got to see what works best. And that's why us functional medicine providers, we really love to personalize your care and dig into what's best for you. Eating seasonally can also be very beneficial, right? The foods that we've evolved eating them at certain times of the year, and they tend to have benefits for us at each of these times of the year, right? We think of watermelon as a summer food. It's really hot and humid during the summer. You can get a little cranky because of that. Eating nice cold watermelon is a really great way to kind of clear that heat and help us to feel a little more cool, a little more human. During the winter and fall time, we start to think about root vegetables and stews. Those are all very rich sources of the carbohydrates that we need, complex carbohydrates that we need to kind of get us through the winter season. Also, the brighter the colors of our root vegetables, the more phytonutrients we're going to get from those. All going to definitely benefit our mood overall. All right. We can also combine foods, right? Those things matter. How we pair our foods matters. We just talked about when we were talking about protein combinations. We need to do bean with a grain or corn. They get all of our complex amino acids, right? But how we combine our fats, proteins, and carbs, that also matters. We want to have all 3 of those together so we can feel satiated. We don't want to start feeling hungry like an hour after we've eaten. We want to be able to control our blood sugar levels. If we're having just carbs all the time, our body's going to metabolize that pretty quickly. It's going to cause a spike in our blood sugar, and then there's going to be a quick drop, right? We don't want to get into that hypoglycemia. And so, if we feel satiated, we have stable blood sugar levels, that's going to contribute to a stabilized mood, right? If anybody's ever gotten hangry in the audience, I'm guilty. It's because my blood sugar levels weren't stable. So a good way to do that would be to combine our fats, proteins, and carbs. Let me take a quick peek at my chat. All right. I think, yes, we will be able to have a recording of this. Let's see. Wonderful. Okay, great. We've got those answered. All right. Another thing regarding food combinations, food rich in the amino acid tryptophan that we talked about, so important. It's a precursor to serotonin. Foods like turkey, eggs, nuts and seeds, salmons, those should be combined with a complex carbohydrate to optimize our levels of serotonin. If we're having just the proteins on its own, then we have a lot of different amino acids in the bloodstream and they all have to kind of compete. We have complex carbs along with it. Serotonin tends to get a little bit of preferential treatment. All right. Thank you so much for joining us for that. I hope, that was just a small taste of the ways in which food can impact our mood. I want to open it up for questions right now. So please, if you've had anything that you wanted to ask about during the presentation, now is the time to do it. Let me see if I can open up my Q&A. All right, additional reading for developing nutritional habits and meal plans. That's a great question. There's so many great places to start. Michael Pollan is an author that has a lot to say about food and how much it can benefit and impact our lives. The Omnivore's Dilemma is a great way to go. Also, I would recommend, like I said, meeting up with one of us, functional medicine providers, and our nutrition team. They're going to be incredible resources for helping us to create meal plans and achieve your nutrition, right? Okay. Ooh, you guys are going quick. How does caffeine affect food combos? So caffeine can impact our mood by, if we're having it on an empty stomach, can make us a little jittery, make us feel a little more anxious, right? But if we're taking caffeine with our food, that tends to kind of slow down the ability of the caffeine to get right into the bloodstream and keep us kind of keyed up. You're not negating the effects of good food combinations by having caffeine. We obviously don't want to overdo it on caffeine. In that case, then we definitely can negate all that hard work we're doing by combining our food smart. A little bit of caffeine is okay if you're not too sensitive to it. How can people with multiple food allergies achieve nutrition outside of food sources? That's a great question, and this is something that I would definitely encourage you to come in for a free consult and chat with us about how we can look into your food allergies, how we can assess what's going on. Are there ways that we can optimize your body's ability to take in different foods? We can definitely recommend a supplement protocol, so that would be something that I would definitely recommend doing with the benefit or with the guidance, of a functional medicine provider. All right, let's see. We are in the Q&A. Okay, let's see. Would you suggest supplementing tryptophan, such as L-tryptophan, if you don't eat a lot of meat, or do you think we get enough through diet? This would be something that, I would recommend coming in for a consult. We'd want to look at your diet, kind of go over that with you, see what sources of protein you are getting, see how complete they are, and discuss with that from there. I wouldn't want to make a recommendation of supplementing right off the cuff. That's definitely something we'd want to have a personalized conversation with you about. All right. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, I'm struggling with these, where the questions are. Are we offering virtual consultations? Yes, it is absolutely possible to work virtually during the pandemic. During the first 3 months of the pandemic, the functional medicine team was fully online. We still have great online capabilities, so we're very grateful for that. AMH has done a wonderful job of providing telemedicine services to our patients. So definitely when you call in to make your consult, be sure to ask the clinic manager or the central scheduling team member that you're speaking to if they can get you scheduled for something virtual. That's a great question. All right. What about the role of legumes? I'm not really sure the nature of this question. There is a lot of protein to be had from legumes, so that would be one way to supplement your protein intake if you're a vegan, vegetarian. Also something great for us omnivores to be eating beans as well. It's got a lot of fiber. And like I said, the best way to ensure that you're getting a complete array of amino acids that make up proteins from eating legumes would be to combine that smartly with like a grain like rice or corn. Those will be really helpful in fleshing out and completing the proteins available in beans and legumes. All right. And let's see, do we have any more questions over here? Y'all are asking such wonderful questions. I love it. We're told a little alcohol can be beneficial. Any recommendations, particularly during COVID lockdown? What's the best consumption? So moderation is going to be very key when it comes to alcohol. Obviously, we want to go the route of alcoholic beverages that tend to have the most benefits for us. So something like a red wine is going to have the most polyphenols that are going to be beneficial, and phytonutrients that are going to be beneficial. Resveratrol has been found in the skin of red grapes. It's not really something we get a ton of from wine. That does tend to be something you would technically need to supplement more with, but you do get some. So, definitely it's a quality of life thing, right? Like if 1 or 2 glasses of wine a week are very helpful for you in relaxing and unwinding and socializing, that's definitely something that you can continue on doing. We definitely just want to be safe and give ourselves a break, right? We don't want to be having a glass of wine every single day. Let's see, what else do we have? Oops, too far. All right, we mentioned collagen to support the gut. Is that in a supplement or are there foods that have that? So collagen, it's kind of a both. We can get it through supplementation. There are different collagen powders that you can add to protein shakes, or just, I add my collagen to my coffee every morning. But you can also get collagen by making bone broths, by eating meats. So those are all going to have collagens. There are marine collagens as well for those of us that maybe are not okay with eating meat, but are okay with eating fish. So that's another great way to get collagen in the diet. Definitely really important for our hair, skin, nails. All of our connective tissue contains collagen. So the proteins that we would take in from getting collagen, the amino acids proline and glycine, those are all going to be really helpful in maintaining our collagen levels, right? Okay, let's see what else we have. Any thoughts, opinions on the blood type books and research? So I think it's a great thing to look at. Definitely you can consider eating for your blood type. I wouldn't let it be the end-all be-all of how you eat and build your diet plan. I definitely think that's something you'd want to go in and chat with a specific provider, somebody who can get a look at you specifically to see what's going on with your lifestyle factors, your genetic factors, your baseline nutrient status. That's definitely how I would proceed with something like that. I work out of the Evanston and right now River North clinics, eventually Streeterville when we get that one back open. Thank you so much for asking. Hopefully I see some of your faces there. And what's the difference between functional medicine and nutrition? That's a great question. So functional medicine, that's at Alliance, that's all our functional medicine providers are all licensed chiropractic physicians. Our director of functional medicine team is a dual licensed chiropractic physician and medical physician. Our nutritionists are all trained specifically in nutrition. So how are we, our functional medicine providers, we're managing the caseload, we're managing the case overall, we're managing the healing of the disease process, and we're looking to our nutrition team to really fine tune and use food as medicine, right? So we're kind of overview, we're kind of the overview of the care. We put you on different supplements, we make different recommendations, we do testing, right? Whereas our nutritionists are going to be supporting you specifically by meeting your nutritional goals as directed either by us, the functional medicine providers, also by you, because your preferences and lifestyle choices matter, right? We want to care about that. So that's kind of the difference there with nutrition. Nutrition is, you're focusing specifically on nutrition. With the functional medicine side, we're managing care of the pathological processes, and we're also making testing recommendations, making supplement recommendations. We recommend any tests or programs to assess your gut microbiome. Is this something we include in our consultation? So we can definitely chat. We'd love to chat with you about ways and tests that we have to assess your gut microbiome. Most often we go the route of stool analysis. That's something we can discuss with you during a consultation, but it's not something that would be included in a consultation. That tends to be something that we need you to be under care to recommend something like that. So hopefully that answers that question. Let's see. We have over here, working with Dr. Toth and Samara Sheen. Wonderful, glad to hear that. Looking forward to doing more deep dive on this stuff. Wonderful, really glad to hear that. Dr. Toth and Samara are wonderful providers. Really glad to hear that y'all are working with them. All right, let me see. Any more questions coming through? All right, y'all. Thank you so much for attending. Oh, wait, do we have one more here? Let's see. PCP skeptical of supplements and told you not to take them except for magnesium or vitamin D because they aren't FDA approved. What are my thoughts? This is a great question. So unfortunately, the supplement industry is not regulated. It's not regulated by the FDA. However, working with a functional medicine provider, somebody who can recommend to you nutraceutical supplement products that have been vetted by third-party verification organizations, that's going to be really key in your being able to get a product that you can trust. There definitely have been instances where people were gaming the system, where they're putting ingredients in products that were either harmful or not what we needed them to be, and that can kind of like spoil the whole idea, right? That's why at Align Modern Health we partner with an online dispensary called Fullscript, where we partner with different really top of the line supplement companies that have proven to us that they're putting in their products what they say they are, that the products are potent and efficient, and that they're going to be really beneficial for you. So we definitely like to take kind of the guesswork out of that. If you've ever been to a supplement store on your own without somebody guiding you on what to get, what to look for, it can be very confusing. We definitely want to take that out of the equation for you. What to eat for fertility? That's a great question, and it really truly depends on you. Something I definitely recommend you come in and schedule a consult for is focusing on fresh variety of fruits, vegetables, as good a quality of meat as you can afford, or protein as you can afford. That's going to be a great place to start. Staying hydrated, all of that. All right, but definitely get yourself scheduled so we can chat about that more. All right. Let's see. Can we talk more about Candida overgrowth and resources? Podcasts, doctors' articles. So Candida overgrowth can be really tricky to deal with. Some of the best things to do would be to avoid high amounts of sugars and carbohydrates. I'm sure if you're working with an AMH provider, they've given you kind of a Candida diet. Those are things that I would definitely recommend looking at with the care and guidance of a functional medicine provider and one of our nutritionists. There's a lot of information about Candida diets out on the internet. Some of it is great, some of it is not so great. I would definitely not recommend walking that path alone. Some great resources. Dr. Ruscio, I can't remember his first name, maybe Michael Ruscio. He's a great functional medicine provider that has some podcasts that could be a great starting point for you. All right. If you have any questions, any further questions, all, please visit us at alignmodernhealth.com. We'd love to get you scheduled for a free 15-minute consult. We can chat more about what's going on with you and how to personalize your care. All right, just so you see here, we are in network with lots of different providers. For functional medicine, it's Blue Cross Blue Shield and Aetna. If you're interested in chiropractic medicine and acupuncture, we've also, we're in network with Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, the VA, United Healthcare, Cigna, and Medicare. We've got a lot of great providers ready to take good care of you. Y'all have a great afternoon. Thank you so much for spending your lunch with me.